let's get on to Patrick Mahomes' opposite number, getting a very different kind of build-up going into this game. Jimmy Garoppolo, polarizing opinions really all around town at the moment. One camp thinks he's a liability. They think the 49ers can't win if Jimmy G needs to win it for them. Then there are the Garoppolo apologists, of which I'm delighted to say you and I are part of that camp. It was music to my ears to hear the counter-argument to this. It's one of the biggest narratives all week long. If Garoppolo, if the ball's in his hand, he's not going to be able to win the game. It's crazy, isn't it? What's going on, do you think? Why? Is it recency bias? Is that all it is?
Yeah, it's a little bit of recency bias, and it's a little bit of like, they're a really good football team. So when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, everyone thinks, well, they've got a dominant defense. And they do. And they got a dominant defensive line. And they do. That can be true, and Jimmy Garoppolo can still be really good.
Right.
You know, both things can be independent of each other. They were 13-3.
Yeah.
And then you go, man, they have a great run game. Again, just because they have a good run game doesn't mean the quarterback's not really good, right? And so that's a big conversation part.
On that, obviously they've been playing the hot hand, the hot legs in the playoff games, and why deviate from that if it's working as effectively as it is?
We would kill Kyle Shanahan if he did.
If he did, exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, we would have sat there if Kyle Shanahan in that Minnesota game or that Green Bay game got away from the run. We all would have gone on television the next day and been like, what is Kyle Shanahan doing? He should have just continued to – That's my thing, is the same people that are saying, well, Jimmy G only had to throw 8 pass attempts would have been crushing Kyle if they dropped back and threw it 35 times.
We've established that we agree on this, but just to play devil's advocate and throw the counter-argument in, people are saying because of his liability in terms of turnovers, which is a factor, there's no doubt about that. That's a weaker spot than maybe other parts of his game. And the timing that Shanahan moved to the run, where – those two things were slightly simpatico. That's, I think, what is giving that argument a bit of fuel.
Okay, so the Minnesota game, because let's touch on that. So, first of all, Minnesota's a top 5 defense in the NFL. There's a reality of that. Second of all, Kyle, there's moments when you just feel things from your players. And, okay, maybe Jimmy G was not playing as good as Kyle wanted in that moment, all right? We can still run the football, and the goal is advance and survive. And so move on. And then but in that same game, he had 3 really big third down conversions that kept drives going. And then in the Green Bay game, they get to a 3rd and 8, they punch the run, and all of a sudden they're off and running. And so I think this, if we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo from a broad view, because the body of work does matter. In trailing this year, no quarterback in the NFL was better. Patrick Mahomes was not better while trailing than Jimmy G. And then here's the conversation that's really picked up over the last couple of days here in Miami. If trailing in the 4th quarter late in the game, do you trust Jimmy Garoppolo to outduel Patrick Mahomes? Who
would you rather have?
Right. I think naturally you'd rather have Patrick Mahomes. Yes. Do I trust Patrick Mahomes more if my team is down 14-0? No question. The reality is, down late in the game, if Jimmy G gets the football, I don't feel great if I'm a Chiefs fan, because he's had 4 fourth quarter comebacks this year. And here's the thing. They've been down with 5 minutes to go 6 times this year in the NFL, in NFL games. He's 4-2.
Right.
In the 2 losses, one, he sent the Seattle game into overtime. The second one against Atlanta, he gave his team the lead with like a minute left, and then Atlanta went and scored. So no time
was it on him?
that he's had the opportunity to get it done that he hasn't. But there's the narrative that people don't watch. They just don't watch. They just look at a box score, and that drives me nuts.
Yeah, and he can't handle a shootout. I mean, how long ago was the New Orleans game? I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Surely we've got stronger memories.
And then like the Seattle game, the Atlanta game, the Rams game, like there's been other New Orleans' games, but we just think of the New Orleans game because it was the Saints and a big game, obviously, and go do it on the road. But there's been other examples this year. And also, he's 23-5 as the starter.
Right.
Right. Like it's not like he's 13-13 or something, or 14-14. So.
Hope you enjoyed the Nat Coombs Show presented by Paddy Power Fantasy. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click subscribe to ESPN UK and you won't miss a trick.